Thank you everyone for joining us for today's GSA Fleet desktop workshop on the latest functionality available in GSAFleet.gov. With that, I'm going to turn things over to Alex Stepanov.
Hi, everybody. There we go. Like Stacy mentioned, today we're going to be talking about some of the latest releases and stuff that's going on with GSAFleet.gov. So welcome everybody to our desktop workshop. And the main thing that we're going to be talking about today is user management. That's going to be a new feature coming out soon. So we want to make sure that everybody's prepared and well informed and has what they need in order to go into this transition. Like Stacy said, the download copy for the presentation link is right here. So if you need it, gsa.gov/GSA Fleet Training. I'm Alex Stepanov. I'm the communications lead for the modernization project. And with me presenting is going to be Vong. He'll be talking about the vehicle registration releases and the new things that are going on over there. And doing Q&A is going to be Jamie and Angel in the background. So like everybody has heard, GSAFleet.gov is live. We released our vehicle registration portion back in, I think it was in February. So, hopefully you've gotten the chance to play around in the site or create your account or whatever that might look like, if that pertains to you. And so our new feature that we're releasing, we've been making a lot of improvements, trying to keep things fresh for you guys, make sure that, we're listening to our customers. And one of the things that we heard was that customers wanted to be able to manage their own users and make sure that we're giving the right permissions to people and giving them access to the things that they need when they need them. So that was why we created this customer user management portion. That's going to be released at the end of April next week sometime. So it hasn't come out yet fully. And it's going to be right now for HQ level fleet managers. So that'll give people that are at the headquarters level for the entire department, our main point of contact for, like, for example, Department of Interior or DHS will get default access to it, but you guys will be able to determine how that structure looks like for approval within your agency. So our defaults will be to the headquarters level people, but headquarters level people will be able to tell us, and we'll be releasing guidance soon on how to do that, hopefully tomorrow's at some point. So you'll be able to structure it by bureau if you want to, like, give that authority to people at the bureau level, people at a regional level. You'll be able to navigate that and tell us what you think is best for your agency. So like I said, we're going to have a user guide and we'll have guidance coming out soon. Hopefully within the next week, we'll be able to get those things out. And for anybody that's not in the class of fleet managers that are our main point of contacts for a particular department, we would encourage you to reach out to those headquarters level fleet managers if you have any suggestions or concerns or questions with how they might structure the approval process, since that'll be decided by individual agencies. So for this whole process, there are currently some people that are still in pending approval status within the site. That is in part because we require supervisor approval in order to make sure if the information that we have on our end doesn't match with what is being requested, or if the person wasn't a FMVRS user in the past, we reach out to your supervisor to make sure that you're getting the right access that you need, and that we're just security measures to make sure that everybody has the right things. So if you haven't received your account approval yet, that is most likely why. But also for the HQ level people that will be receiving that access to be customer administrators or user administrators, you will have possibly a list of people already in there that are waiting for approval, and you'll be able to see and approve them at your discretion. We'll also be cleaning up the list of agencies to match agencies that have inventory within our system. So I'll show that in a second when we go into the demo portion. But there is a drop-down menu during the role assigning process. And that drop-down menu has a list of agencies to choose from. And so that is not entirely clean. There's a lot of like overlap with some of the things, and some things look like they're repeating and that kind of thing. So we're working to clean that up too, to make it as easy as possible for you to find your agency and assign people with efficiency. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and move into demoing. How do I, nope. Stop share. Jamie, if you could.
Sure can, bring it up now.
Okay.
Can you see GSAFleet.gov, Alex?
No, I just see your desktop.
How about now?
Yes. Okay, wait, can we go back a couple steps so
Sure.
that you can see how to, yeah. Okay, so you'll go ahead and you'll log in and get into your account, and then you'll see your name is up at the top on the right-hand corner with the little icon. So you'll click on that, and then there'll be a drop-down menu, and that admin console is going to be what you're going to want to click. You might not have the same screen here with the menu, but what you will have is manage users. So you'll be able to click on that, which will take you to this page. And so right now it's just a like default list of all of the people. You can use different filters like Jamie just did to sort through the people that are currently pending approval. And I'll explain what everything means in a second so that we can see everything. So you can enter somebody's individual email. If we get a lot of emails to the help desk, for example, asking for, to see when somebody's going to be approved. So we typically just right click on the email and drop it right in so that we can find somebody quickly. You're also able to sort, like Jamie's hovering on the sort features now, if you want to be able to get through that easier. And the user statuses, you can filter by user status. So pending approval would be all of the people that you have to, that are there for approval, that are ready. They have all of their account stuff set up, and all you have to do is the approval process. So that's on your end. Pending profile, we'll show that in a second, will be people that haven't completed their profile information. So they're still missing some work information, supervisor information, something's missing there. So you won't be able to approve their account yet, and it'll just be sitting there in pending profile. And active is once you approve them. Denied would be if you denied them access. And those would be the main ones for right now. So Jamie, if you can hit on one of the, so you go to the three little buttons on the right-hand side under actions would be how you get to view profile, which will lead you to this. So we're going to approve access for Rula. And then you'll get a little banner that says that you approved. And that's how you approve or deny them, whatever might be the case. And then a little button will appear, assign role. So you'll hit on that, click on customer fleet manager, because that's the default role for what somebody that's not a customer administrator would be, and then you would select an agency. And this is the agency list that I was mentioning that we're cleaning up. A bureau.
One thing I'd add is you'll only see the agency that you're assigned to.
Okay, thank you. And then an office if that's relevant. Something to note when going through the approval process and assigning a role, if the person is at an agency level and should have access to everything within that, the data within that particular agency, you wouldn't assign a bureau or an office. You would just leave those fields blank. So you would put them at Department of Agriculture, and that was it. Like then you save change and you leave it like that. If it's at a bureau level, if the person's supposed to have bureau level access to everything within that bureau, same thing. You do agency, you do bureau, but you leave the office blank. And so you hit save, and it shows up there that you assigned the role and the person has been successfully approved.
One other thing I'd add too is if you want someone to have multiple offices at the third tier, you can assign, you'd have to assign them another role. So you have to go into here and keep assigning if you want multiple people have access to multiple offices or bureaus.
And Jamie, could you pull up a profile that's pending profile? And so this is what it would look like if the person hasn't completed their work information or their supervisor information. So it would just be possibly their name and their email, and then not much else. And you don't see how like at the top of the page, there's no approve or deny button. So you're not able to do anything. Is there anything else, Jamie, that you would touch on?
Nope, that's it. So you'll be able to see anyone that's been, so I'd also add too is all the agency fleet managers. If for accounts that have already been approved in the system, we're going to migrate that supervisor list to the agency fleet manager, so we have a cohesive list for you guys to start from, to approve and also deny, and just see kind of who has access to your vehicles. So I just add that.
Oh, and I also forgot to mention that when you do, so outside of that list of people that are going to be already there for approval, you'll also receive an email notification every time that somebody new registers under you. So they'll be able to select. So for customers that aren't at the HQ level, the way that it'll work is that you'll go in and you'll have the supervisor or the manager section that showed on the profile. That'll be where you select. When you create an account, you'll select your corresponding manager for your agency or your bureau, however it is that it's structured, and select them, and then that'll send the email notification to that person so that they can go in and approve. All right, I think those are the main things for me, and we'll be answering questions about the user management stuff at the end in case you have any. And of course, we're going to be available for trainings and questions and all of that stuff along the way. So, and I will hand it over to Fong.
Great, thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vong Kim Vongsa, and I will be talking about what is new in the vehicle registration. So GSAFleet.gov team has been hard at work to ensure that we address any issues our customers are experiencing as we continue to improve and refine our new system. So on March 22nd, there was a 2.0 release with the following updates. Part of that update is a license plate toast notification that allows our end users to swap out expired license plates with new ones. Customers will have to reconcile their license plate order before this action can take place. There's also a bulk license plate reconciliation that prevents reconciled plates statuses from being erroneously altered. We also relax the constraint for registering trailer bins that cannot be validated by NHTSA, where customers can enter unknown for make and model. Now, keep in mind that you have the option to come back to correct that make and model in a future edit, because at this time we are also adding additional makes and models to a master table for customers to select from. Again, I want to emphasize that we continue to improve and refine the new system, and we really appreciate your patience as we move forward with GSAFleet.gov. We also added in the vehicle inventory page the vehicle status filter. And also based on the requests from our customers, we've added the 3-digit agency code and 2-digit bureau code to the filtering capabilities. Also, some of our customers have asked about the office code filtering. We heard your feedback, and we are working to have that available in future releases. Another feature that we added is that there are vehicles that are exempt from registering tags. So we created a vehicle registration PDF for such cases. And the last update, which is my favorite, is the inventory report that so many of you have asked for. This is in the testing phase, so we just want you to be aware that we are working on this and it will be available soon. So with that, I will move to the demo portion of the presentation. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so we are going to go into the test environment. Now, keep in mind, this is all test data. So what you're about to see is just made up information. Okay, so first I will show you the new license plate toast notification that's available and also the bulk reconciliation. So you place an order for license plates that have are getting ready to expire. Yes.
We can't see the site. We see the presentation.
Okay, hold on here. Give me 1 second. Okay, can you see the site now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to search on a license plate order that you placed. You go to the license plate orders tile, and we will search on the particular order number. And for this order, it's 4520 test. And then you will click on the link. And you can see within this order, there are 3 plates listed, a set of A and B plates, and 2 sets of trailer plates. Right here is this reconciliation full license plate order button that customers can select on. Once you click on this button, the status of every plate within this particular order will change from shipped to received. You receive this toast notification that you're about to perform a license plate order reconciliation. Hit reconcile, and there you go. All plates within that particular order that have not been reconciled are now updated to received. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the toast notification that I mentioned earlier. We'll take that particular license plate there. Customers will then go to the vehicle inventory, click on the tile, and then instead of searching by the VIN, we will search by that particular license plate. Okay, So as you can see, there is the VIN that the old license plate is attached to. Click on the VIN. And here's the toast notification of that brand new plate that's ready to be assigned to that VIN. Right here, there's the plate that's getting ready to expire. Click on that update. A second notification will identify that the old license plate or the plate that's getting ready to expire can now be submitted for destruction. It's been unattached. And now the new plate with the new expiration month and year is attached to that same VIN. All right. The second update is registering a VIN using unknown for make and model. Click on the GSA Fleet logo. Go to vehicle registration. This VIN I'm about to add does not exist in the database. So the system will perform a NHTSA validation, and you receive this pop-up notification that the VIN is not available through NHTSA. So as a customer, I would select Other, Verify Non-Standard VIN. The information is listed there. So we are registering this trailer. Select the year. And make, if I type in unknown, we get to select unknown, and the model unknown is pre-populated. Fuel type is considered non-fuel, and no for fast reportable since it's a trailer VIN. And for demo purposes, we will exempt this particular VIN and go through the registration process. I'll select an agency, bureau, office, and add my points of contact. ESPS validation, select, save it. All right. Again, USPS validation. You have both check marks. Click to the next. Review your information. And complete registration. Once that registration is completed, you get this toast notification that you can download your registration card. As I mentioned earlier, since this VIN is exempt, we provided you with the capability to print off the vehicle ID card that identifies that this particular VIN is self-insured, or the motor vehicle is self-insured by the federal government. Okay. And next update is the vehicle status filter on the vehicle inventory page. So we go to vehicle inventory. Listed in the left-hand column is the vehicle status, where we can filter by active, ordered, delivered, missing, sold, or NA. And for this particular example, let's take a look at vehicles that are, let's see, that are assigned to agency. Let's do Department of Agriculture 012. And as I mentioned earlier, we added the 3-digit agency code, which is listed right here. The 2-digit bureau code, which is listed here. We will select ownership type and vehicle status that are active. And here we have 7 vehicles that are listed. And with that, I will turn it back to you, Alex.
Okay. Vaughn, can you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. Yep.
All right. There we go. Okay. So just to wrap things up on the presentation portion, and I know that there are a lot of questions, so that's what we're going to be doing for the next however long. But we just wanted to say thank you because all of this stuff and including the like new releases and the updates and all of this comes out of your participation and the fact that you've engaged with us, you've told us what your needs are. I know that there's a lot of different things that people have been coming to the help desk for and that sort of thing. But we are working to make sure that you have the best experience that you can within the system. So we just want to say thank you for your commitment and the fact that you've been able to pull off doing usability sessions with us. We've got attendance for our desktop workshops, which is really awesome. People have come to us with questions, and we've done one-on-one trainings with people. So we just want to say thank you for that kind of collaboration and the effort that you guys have put into making sure that this is a good experience. And as always, I'm going to put a call out for our community practice. This is where we do get some of the testing people from. We reach out to our community practice to see if you're available to be able to test. So use this form, or you can email Fleet Systems Modernization at GSA.gov and we can sign you up. And then that way we have you on our list. So yeah, and there's the email that I mentioned just now. And we'll do questions. So I'll open it up. I'll open up the floor. I know Angel, you and Jamie have a few questions that you've marked as answering live.
Correct. So the first question we have here is, if I get access denied when I click on admin console, do I need this training?
Yeah, so I marked this one as live. Right now, we have not deployed the admin role yet, so no one will be able to access that, but starting next week, you'll be able to get access to it. And to add to that as well, like Alex said, we'll assign to the agency fleet managers first, and then they'll delegate down to other people they would like to have them manage the access for people at the office and bureau level.
Thank you. And the next one here says, I work in a regional office where there are more than 200 people who use the vehicles. Will they have to give permission and place everyone's name individually under their account? I guess what they're asking is, will there be a simplified solution to grant users access when there's a large amount of users in one specific office?
So right now, the only way that, so in the current initial launch of GSAFleet.gov, you will have to do all 200 of those individually. But we are working on setting up another release where we'll send an invitation to help streamline that process. But for the time being, unfortunately, it's going to be on an individual basis.
So there's a question here. How come we cannot add a trailer model name? I can only enter the make for both the make and model. So right now at this time, we are not permitting customers from entering a make and model name. If a make and model name needs to be added to the make and model table, please submit a ticket to GSA Fleet Help Desk at GSA.gov, and we can get that information added to the table so that customers can select from it in the future. Here's another question. There is a need to have an invalid status for vehicles in GSA fleet, like FMVRS. The only option now are active, sold, or missing / stolen. Years ago, equipment was entered since this was agency protocol, but protocols have changed and this equipment is no longer supposed to be entered. So we need a way to make it something other than active, sold, missing, and stolen. Angel, do you want to take a shot at this?
I'm sorry. So we are working on updating the vehicle registration system iteratively and improving the functionality there. So we know that there is a need for additional statuses, and we will continue to work to ensure that we capture all of the requirements needed for the system and reach out to those users that may have that specific need to ensure that what we build works for them. But for right now, I don't have a specific time for when that type of functionality will be released in the system. Just know that once it is, we will inform all of our users that that capability is there. So for now, the workaround that we have would be to use one of the statuses that we actually have in the system right now. And once we have additional functionality, we'll make sure to inform all of our users.
Thank you, Angel. Here's another question. Would we be able to extract an Excel spreadsheet of all license plates that are currently assigned per division? So right now we are in the testing phase of creating an export feature that allows you to run a report for license plates that are in multiple statuses, along with vehicles that are registered in the system or not registered. Again, we are in the testing phase of that particular functionality, and it will be available real soon for our customers.
There are a couple of, I think we've got an answer being typed, but yes, if you are an agency fleet manager at the headquarters level, and you are main point of contact, I believe Jamie's typing this answer too, but yes, to the question of, so should agency fleet managers register, from what I understand. Also, somebody asked, what kind of communication can we expect going forward about bugs and those types of things? And how will we know when specific issues have been addressed? We have been, and I don't know if this is from Elisa, if you've received the emails, but we've been sending emails on updates to all of our active and pending approval users. So I would look out for those emails just to note what it is that's been updated, and for each one of the releases that we have to make sure that we fix the bugs and add new things to improve the system. You'll be receiving an email for that. And once we have big enough things, we might do a desktop workshop. So
here's another question from a participant. Why can't we edit or update the license plate POC? That POC information comes to us directly from Unicore as a flat file. So we ingest that data into GSAFleet.gov and we provide it as a FYI to our customers. So again, that particular license plate information, POC information, is not editable within GSAFleet.gov. So here's a question. We are aware of the issue between GSAFleet.gov and FedFMS. We are currently working on trying to resolve that issue. We are aware of it, and we appreciate that customers have made us aware of it. We are actually working on it, just to let you know.
All right, another question here. from Lisa Jones. She's asking about accessing Unicore plates in the system. She is unable to see a specific order number, but another fleet manager could. So she was just wondering what the level of access is for Unicore plate orders. To all of our users, I want to give two parts. I'll give a two-part answer here. So first, you want to ensure that your Unicore user profile has the right bureau associated with it. Like Vong just mentioned, the information comes over from Unicore about a specific order, and that's where the order is scoped to in our system. So that's the first part of it, is ensuring that the bureau that you're ordering under is the bureau that it should actually belong to once it comes into our system. The second part of that is ensuring that your account is properly scoped. If the order is under the correct bureau, but your account is not listed under the correct bureau, then that may be the reason why you cannot pull up the order. So you want to just double check your user profile and see how your account is scoped. And if there is a change that needs to be made, you want to reach out to fleet.helpdesk@gsa.gov so that we can get your account properly scoped. But coming soon, the user management will be done at the agency level. So in a very short amount of time, you'll be able to have an agency fleet manager or someone within your chain of command update that information for you. But in the meantime, you'd want to reach out to fleet.helpdesk@gsa.gov so we can get your account properly scoped. Okay. And I think Vong already answered the question of why we cannot add a trailer model name. Am I right, Vong? Did you already answer that question?
Yes, I answered that question. If you need to add a trailer model name, please send an email to the GSA Fleet Help Desk, and we will get that model information name added to the master list that will be available to you and other users.
Okay.
There's another question. How do we filter by office codes? Right at this time, office codes are not available. It is something that we are discussing that will be available in the future.
So there's another question about Excel and getting an Excel spreadsheet of license plates currently assigned per division. I think Vong mentioned this earlier. We are currently testing out export functionality of all of our inventory features in the system. That would include vehicle, license plate, and license plate order. So that functionality will be shortly released, and feel free to join us at FedFleet, where we will be demoing that information May 17th through May 19th. Where we'll have a session dedicated specifically to the license plate program, where we'll be talking about the guidance, how to order through Unicore, and how to manage that order in GSAFleet.gov. So be on the lookout for that information. There's a question here, Vong, and I'm not sure if you are up for it, but they want to see if we can do a demo of a bulk submit of license plate for destruction. Currently, the user only has the ability to destroy one at a time. So I have Vong, is that something that you think you can demo right now?
Yes, I can demo that right now. Let me share my screen again. Okay. So you would select the GSA logo, license plates, and let's pick an agency, interior. Select plate status. Let's look for plates that are in attached status. Okay, let's say you want to submit all these plates for destruction. You check the box located here. There's a bulk action, submit for destruction. And then you go through the destruction workflow. Select yes. One, get your tracking label from Unicore. And then begin the destruction process. Now you're taking to step 2. This will list all the plates that you selected. Click next. Agency information. Click next. And you want to put a reason. And then submit. And you get a toast notification that 10 license plates are now in pending destruction status.
All right, thank you so much for that. Appreciate you working so fast, being put on the spot like that. Patrick is asking, once a license plate is assigned to a vehicle, it's assigned to the vehicle for its life cycle and cannot be reassigned to a new vehicle. Does the system prevent an existing license plate from being assigned to a new vehicle? And the answer is yes. We do have checks in place that will prevent a license plate, if it is assigned to another VIN, from being assigned to a new VIN. So it won't pull up any of those plates in the registration process. And you will not be able to reassign plates that have been assigned to old plates in the system. But this also causes an issue when users accidentally assign a plate to a VIN and want to make the correction. That's why you can't currently make the correction right now. And we're working on a solution to handle those cases where plates are accidentally assigned to incorrect VINs. And a swap just needs to be made versus ordering a new plate. So we'll have more information on that in the future. But yes, to answer your question, Patrick, that information or those checks are in place in the system. And I believe Vong already answered why we can't edit or update license plate POCs in the system, but that is why I stress ensuring that the information is correct in your Unicore profile, because that is where the information comes from. So the person that is placing the order, just ensure that the name, the address, the bureau, all of the information that's listed there in that Unicore profile is up to date and correct. All right, I'm just.
So here's a question. I never received confirmation for bulk plates that were previously sent to Unicore to be destroyed prior to FMVRS being updated. Would I be able to pull that record through the new website? Not at this time. Again, we are in the process of testing out the reports menu that will allow you to download license plate information and vehicle information.
All right, and we got another question here. Is it possible to list a VIN or plate number to find out who the vehicle is registered to? If the vehicle is assigned within the same agency and bureau and office that you are assigned to, you would be able to pull it up. But if you are not assigned to the same bureau, agency and office, then you would not be able to pull up that information. But if you have a question about a specific VIN that is not, that does not come up for you under your profile, feel free to reach out to our help desk at fleet.helpdesk@gsa.gov, where we can look into that information for you and provide any necessary information that that would be helpful for you, or at least provide you with the POC so that you can find out what you need to find out about that specific VIN. Okay, Clifford is asking about the plates that are coming in under Office Code 000 and local fleet managers not being able to access those specific plates. So with those plates, we're working on updating the system right now to allow for changes to be made to the Bureau once the license plate comes in, the Bureau, and therefore the office code as well. I don't have an estimated time on when that functionality will be released, but right now you would have to reach out to our help desk so that we can make the updates for you on those license plates that are coming in under that 000 office code. So again, the help desk, and we'll be sure to put this in the chat as well, is fleet.helpdesk@gsa.gov. Okay. Vong, you want to get on the question about the connection between GSA Fleet and FedFMS?
Yes, I believe I answered that earlier. We are aware that vehicles that are registered in GSAFleet.gov are not showing up in FedFMS. Our dev team is working on that data pipeline to understand why that information is not showing up, but we are working on it. And we're aware of the situation.
Okay, so there's a question here about being able to edit the license plate point of contact information. Some of that is old and inaccurate. So updating the name and email address is not something that we are planning for right now for the license plate POC, but we are planning on updating giving users the ability to update the Bureau and office code for a license plate. Once a license plate is attached to a vehicle, it assumes the information for the vehicle. So as long as you're able to update the information for the vehicle, the POC and email that the vehicle should be assigned to, that will take precedent as the POC information for that specific license plate. So for now, we're not looking at changing that information. But if it does become something that is more of an issue, we can look to add that functionality in the future, or make it more of a priority. Right now, it's just not a high priority since the information since the license plate POC takes on the information for the vehicle once it is attached to a vehicle. I hope that answers your question there, Bonnie. Okay.
All right. Are there any more questions that you guys want to take live or?
So I'm going to respond to a lot of the questions typing because it seems like a lot of these are more very specific to the user. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that would be beneficial. Just give me 1 second here.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we'll respond to the rest of these via chatting these out.
Okay, and we'll be receiving a list of the questions, right, Stacy? I don't know if,
Correct. As soon as the session wraps up, I'll be able to pull the report and send it to y'all.
perfect. Okay. Well then, thank you everybody for joining, and I hope that this was useful for you and you were able to learn some stuff. And we will see you next time. I don't know if Stacy, if you have anything to wrap up with.
No, just thank you all for attending, and thank you to the modernization team for hosting this session. We did provide a couple of links. One is for FedFleet, which is a training conference that will be virtual again this year, but still a great opportunity to get lots of good information about federal fleet management, including more information on our systems modernization effort. And then our desktop workshop page that we're regularly updating as we host and schedule new sessions. We do have a couple sessions on telematics. Not next week. In 2 weeks is the first one, and then the second one is the week after that. And then there's other sessions we're working to get scheduled. So we're constantly updating that as we get more things scheduled. And then again, we post copies of the presentation as well as recordings from the sessions. It'll take a couple weeks for the for today's recording to be added, but we do have the session that was previously hosted in January on GSAFleet.gov, that recording is there, that gives you some basic information about the vehicle registration process and how to get your account set up. So there is still some good information out there, even while you're waiting on this specific video to get added. So thank you everyone again for joining us. It sounds like the team is planning on reaching out and following up with some folks on their specific questions after the session. And I think they provided the emails a couple of different times for who to reach out to if you do require assistance. If you are a leasing customer, there's always your fleet service representative as well. They can help point you in the right direction for things too. With that, thank you again. Have a wonderful day and hope you have a great week.